Welcome to DYOPATH Connections. I'm Bill Borbas, and my guests today are from the business technology team from American Society of Plastic Surgeons. And this includes Ion Despoiu, Senior Director of Business Technology, Patrick Travers, Technical Support Specialist, and Jerime Wargo, Project Manager and Business Analyst. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
I'm so excited. The last time we got together, there was so much that I benefited and learned from how your organization is being run. And I almost wish I recorded our last call. So here we are today. And today I really want to talk about American Society of Plastic Surgeons transition from information technology to business technology and what that means and what the impact on the organization is. So if we could start out what that means, what was that transition? What brought about the transition from information technology to business technology?
Yeah, and I can start. We, as a team, we've done so much more to help the business and bring more value to the business. Not necessarily, how many servers we're running or how many, what is the uptime, but no, applications that really help the business. And so as we started to kind of get onto that road, it just kind of makes sense to rebrand ourselves and transform from, an IT, information technology, to a business technology. And we continue to transforming ourselves, so we haven't stopped there. But it's a mindset also with the business, because we're not just cable brokers or keyboard brokers or my monitor is broke. Of course we do that, but there is so much more than that. We're doing a lot more. And Jerime joined our team not long after we rebrand and transform ourselves. And Jerime comes from the business side. He's been with the society longer than any one of us on the technology team has been. And he brings a lot of experience with the business. And, it's helping not just our team to know how we communicate with the business and how to be close to them, but, also, helping the business, because Jerime has insight, a very valuable insight into what does the business really want. And we need that on our team. Sometimes we get into the weeds of, oh yeah, they need this feature, when in fact they ask for a totally different, something completely different. So, but I'm going to let Jerime speak to that as well.
Yeah, it's like Ian said, it's definitely a mindset. Oftentimes technology team gets into the mode of providing the business side what they're asking for, and not stopping to think, is that exactly what they need? And so having that business technology mindset more than just information technology kind of helps us broker that, make that happen, give us an understanding of not just what they're asking for, but what it is that they actually need, and making those decisions based on how we can help the business side.
How do you break through those silos, right? Because obviously there's different departments and lines within an organization. How do you draw that out of people to get an understanding of what their needs might be, and then make that recommendation?
So that's a lot of that's. In my case, it's experience. It's 15 years with the company, coming from the membership side. We're a membership organization. Everything's essentially driven from the membership side. So I think having somebody from the business side as part of the team really helps that. If you had an organization that didn't have somebody from the membership side, or even, I'm not saying you need somebody with 15 years of experience within the business, but try to identify somebody in your business that can act as that liaison to the technology team, and And even if they're outside of the technology department, you have people within every organization that have a great deal of knowledge on the business side. It's just identifying who those people are, and getting them on your team or to work closely with you, if they're not going to be within your technology team directly.
Yeah, and to add on to what Jeremy's saying, so he's been, he comes in from the member side, the membership side, and so because of it, so you have our member base reaching out to the membership department, and they're asking for different things. So membership need to know what's going on, what products, what services. Membership, they are so knowledgeable about the entire society, the services we provide, and how do we help our members, how do we keep our members, how do we talk to our members, what committees are going on. So they do have vast knowledge, of everything that's going on. And so, what we found, and I know, Bill, that, you've come across this, the business, they're asking for, let's say a certain program, or they're asking for a certain item, when in fact, that's not really what they're asking for. And Jerime is so close. It was so close there. He knows exactly what they're asking, even though they don't know how to express what they really want. And so that's key. And also with communication, being technical, very technical, all of us have the tendency to be very technical in our communication to staff or to our members. Well, Jerime has the know-how communicate to staff, and he knows, hey, this is too technical, it's too lengthy, people are not reading it. And it's really nice to have someone from the business side with a business mindset, and it's helping us a lot. And how do they impact what we're doing? Well, do you think business cares about how many servers we patch out? They don't care. They really don't. That's important to us. It's important to Patrick. But it's not important to them. And so the less servers we have to patch, the more time Patrick has to look for services that really, really helps our members and our staff.
So to kind of I guess it's a couple of things I heard there. One, your team is very well rounded. So with expertise that go outside of technology, but also being able to speak in taking technical things and turn them into non-technical terms, so that people have an understanding of what they're getting. Are those accurate? Are those things that it sounds intentional? I mean, just based on the well-roundedness of this group.
That's a big plus. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How did you prioritize? Because I know that some of the things that I thought were just fascinating in our last conversation were some of the process automation things you're doing and application development and other high value tasks. How do you prioritize those versus and perhaps things that either you migrate to the cloud or outsourced and things like that? How did that come to be?
Yeah. Part of our strategy is, enhanced membership engagement, membership reach and engagement, and I'm trying to ask myself, does this project, aligns with this goal, with this strategy? And if it does, then okay, let's try to get this done. That's one. Second, what we've done, and Jerime is leading this, we put together, because you hear a lot of folks, from our partners coming to us and say, hey, I need this project done, or I need this. I need to enhance the website, or we need some kind of application, on the AMS. And so we are faced with triaging all that. And should the technology team be the one triaging it? No, that should be the business side triaging it. And so what we put together, and Jerime is heading this, is a project and initiatives council. And so what happens is anytime, someone from the business side, our partners are coming to us and say, we need this project done. Well, we have to bring this project up to the council, and Jerime schedules typically a monthly meeting, and any new project comes through this group where we have leaders from every department in the organization. And then, there is a, pitch, if you will, on the project that's being brought up to the group. And then we decide what project should the technology team work on next. Because obviously we have limited bandwidth, and we can only take on so many projects in a given month. And Jeremy's job is to do just that, to facilitate those meetings and to make sure that, hey, everyone on the business side knows what is that we work on, and the decision on what project should be worked on should not be made by us, by me, by Jerime, by Patrick. No, that should be made by the group, by the entire business. And the results of the projects that are prioritized on that group, then that bubbles up to the senior leadership of the organization. So everyone is kind of in the loop with what's going on. So,
what has that meant as far as buy-in when you have a whole folks from different departments? What has that meant overall as far as buy-in when you're moving forward with the projects and prioritizing?
I think it's made it easier, or at least you get understanding. Everybody, the number one project in everybody's mind is whatever their project is, and so when you have 6 different projects on the docket, it helps to see how each project is going to affect the organization, and it gives an understanding for everybody in the organization, an understanding of what's happening. Why perhaps their project is taking 2 months to complete instead of being completed by the end of this month. That I'm not saying that makes them happy, but at least it gives them an understanding of the scope of everything that's happening within the organization. Before we had the projects and initiatives council, those things kind of happened in a silo. Somebody would request a project, VT would respond, or back in those times, the IT would respond and say, okay, we can have this done in 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Oh, wow, I didn't think it was going to take that long. Why was it, and it's not that the work is difficult, it's just that there's other things in the queue. And, business hates hearing, oh, it's in the queue. They hate hearing that. They want to at least see the queue. And be involved in what's what is going on in organization and how it affects everybody.
And it increases the transparency into what our team is doing, and everyone. Not that they didn't know in the past, but the level of transparency to the initiatives and projects that the entire team is working on. It's for everyone to see, and there is no question about, my project is more important. It's not for us to make that decision. It's for the group, for the entire business to make that decision, and for everyone to know what's on the pipeline, and what is being worked on right now. So that helps. So.
What is the transition? If you were to look back at when it was IT in the past and now it's BT today, what has that meant as far as your position within the organization, how your members are viewed, and that type of a thing?
It's like a double-edged sword, I think. And the reason I'm saying this is that the more we've done, the more the business, is reaching out to us to do. And I mean, we like it. We see trust in our decision making, trust with completing different initiatives. But at the same time, they trust us too much. And so, and what I mean by that is, let's say, a department has some bad experience with a system they have been using. And so now they're coming to us and say, well, they really don't do, the system is really poorly managed, or, it's not really doing what we want. Why don't we do this in-house? So now we have to address another, kind of set of questions, the reasons why we don't do everything in-house. And so as a group, we got to a point where right now, we're trying to work with our partners and let them know that, hey, a general doctor cannot do, plastic surgery, dental work, and cardiology, or brain surgery. A general doctor can send you to any of the specialists, but it cannot do all of them. So, see, she knows. But so that's what we're trying to do right now, and we are trying to help our partners identify, the best of the best, and for different systems, and then we'll become integrators in chief with the general doctor, so to speak. So, you know what I mean? And moving away from this server-centric architecture, and Patrick has done a ton in that space. To move away from servers, and that enabled him to do some of the automation and be proactive on so many levels. I think right now Patrick is creating some kind of a security dashboard to help us be proactive in a sense of what is going on in the world, in terms of has the number of junk email, let's say, spiked, or phishing scams. What about some of the firewall logs? Have they spiked? Have we seen let's say a higher report on SQL injections and all that? So he's putting some kind of a. You can talk more about it, Patrick.
Yeah. No. What I was going to start off with is a lot of the tools that when I started here have changed. So it's not just so much you have hard iron and servers in a server room anymore. Going to public cloud and tools like Amazon and Google Compute, and same thing with Office 365 and G Suite. All those new different set of tools that I had to learn. And especially now we're moving to a SIEM-based cloud logging management system. That's a whole new tool. So this all was built from scratch. I had to learn all of it, and this is, I think, where the things are going to go. So it's starting to be very expensive to run your own, to keep your own server room running, and it's cheaper for small businesses to lift and shift to these public clouds.
Yeah, lift and shift. I think it's sometimes shone upon from by some folks in IT, in the technology space. And although we've done some of it, for servers that we knew are going to go away, Our goal is to change, the service from, just moving a server to, hey, how can we replace this service with something else? You know what I mean? So, and we continue to do, to have the same approach. So, we had an on-premise log and event manager. Well, that's gone. We moved to a SaaS-based model. Initially, we had to do that lift and shift, like Patrick is saying, but the goal was always to, move to more of a SaaS model. And Patrick has been instrumental there.
How much time do you think you gained back from I guess a lot of the day-to-day tasks of patching servers or maintenance and things like that, operational tasks? How much of an efficiency gain have you realized, and then been able to focus on like automation and serving members based on the needs and like that? Are you able to kind of give
quantify it?
Yeah, can you
I
quantify
think
that?
it would be kind of hard, difficult to quantify, but I'll tell you what. I don't recall Patrick patching our Exchange server because we don't have one. There is everything is in 365. I don't remember Patrick upgrading SharePoint because everything is in 365. And so there are a lot of things that kind of enable it gives Patrick time to focus on the more proactive side of things. And, also do some automation and some crazy projects. Before the pandemic, I think Patrick was working on some automation process. Was it to create
new user onboarding?
Yeah. So it was just, but it allowed them. Right now we still need that process, but we focused on different things. But and we are a very small team, very small. It's just 8 of us, right, Jeremy?
Yes. Yeah.
And
I had to think for a second too.
Small and mighty. We are small and mighty. We've done so much, and it's just we can do. I think every time we, because Patrick was talking about learning a new system, the SaaS model for or the SaaS system for log and event manager, and looking at logs in a time series kind of a thing, and quickly identify across your entire domain or domains what's wrong, and you can get to the problem relatively quickly without having to go to every server, and that's just incredible. And then it's just it enables us to do so much more.
That is really awesome to hear, and I appreciate your joining today, and thank you for your continued partnership. It's been every time we get together, I learn something new, as I mentioned before, and I've just truly enjoyed working with all of you over the years. And thank you to our viewers and our listeners for joining DYOPATH Connections. If you found value, please subscribe and comment. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and of course, dyopath.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Bill.
Bill.